Okay. Call this meeting of May 12th to order. Please rise for reflection and pledge of allegiance. We gather together to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping our minds and hearts impartial. Let us always act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Nancy Kovacs, Council President.
Here.
Dana Swisher, Council Vice President.
Here.
William Oates.
Here.
David Seiler.
Here.
Kevin Brandon.
Here.
Jeremy Up.
Here.
Mayor Baumgarten.
Here.
Eileen O'Malley. Here. Michael Foote, Borough Manager.
Here.
Dennis Alonso, Solicitor.
Here.
Ken Truber, Police Chief. Paul Bittmeyer, Codes.
Here.
Josh Calendar, Engineer.
Here.
Thank you. An executive session was held this evening at 6 p.m. for the purpose of collecting information or educating agency members about an issue. Are there any revisions or additions to the agenda? No. Public comment on agenda items. If anybody would like to address council on any agenda items, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and let us know what's on your mind. There being no public comments, we have a public presentation. It's National Police Week Proclamation. Mayor, you're on.
Yeah, this seems to be a proclamation month or whatever.
Yeah, you've been in the spotlight a lot.
I was worse and I was on police. Well deserved. Excuse me. The proclamation for National Police Week, May 11 through 17, 2025. To recognize National Police Week 2025 and to honor the service and sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Police Officers Memorial Day and the week in which May 15 falls as National Police Week. Whereas the members of the Castle Shannon Borough Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of Castle Shannon residents. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the officers of the Castle Shannon Police Department increasingly provide a vital public service. Now, therefore, I, Mayor of Castle Shannon Borough, call upon all citizens of Castle Shannon and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 15, 2025, as Police Week, with appropriate ceremonies and observances in which all of our people may join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in doing so have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens.
Maybe it is.
I therefore call upon all citizens of Castle Shannon to observe May 15, 2025 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty. And let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. In witness, therefore, I have set my hand and caused the seal of Castle Shannon to be affixed. Mayor Donald Baumgarten, May 12th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Ron.
for your officers, all that you do. If everyone's had a chance to review the minutes from the April 28th meeting, if there are no corrections or additions, I need a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have a resignation to consider.
It would be appropriate to note it for the record that you received a resignation email from Councilwoman Charles, but no action is being taken at this time.
Do we have to make it into a motion?
No.
Okay, did everyone hear that? Okay, if there's no questions, bid awards, contracts and resolutions. In accordance with published advertisements, sealed bids for the paving contracts were to be received by LSSE through the Quest Construction Data Network by 11 a.m. Thursday, May 1st. The bids received were opened and read aloud at 11 a.m. on May 1st. Youngblood Paving Incorporated is the apparent low bidder for both contracts. Josh, do you want to comment on that at all or no?
Yes, we had two road programs. One we called the capital funds or general funds. And we had another road program for liquid fuels. Yeah, bids were received, viewed them. They're consistent with what we've seen in other communities and slightly under budget. So we would recommend award both contracts to Youngblood Paving.
Okay, but
Well,
not enough under budget for any
on the
alternates at
liquid
this point.
fuels, liquid fuels is over where capital fits in. Because you were at 250 and 150, right?
Yeah, it came in at 200 for the capital funds and 170, 172, 813 for liquid.
So we're taking some off capital to take care of liquid fuels.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And is Youngblood PennDOT pre-qualified to do all the work?
They are. They're our preferred company to do paving work. They're pretty good.
Any questions?
Madam President, I think I would just add, and Josh could certainly, or perhaps speak a little bit more about it, but one of the things that staff will be coming back to council with once we receive the information on the proposed crack sealing program for 2025. And so the hope would be is that the savings that the borough experienced in the capital fund project, those funds could be allocated for crack sealing so that hopefully with the idea of extending the life of our roads. So I don't know if there's anything more you want to say about that.
Yeah, I think we're putting together a list for all the roads that were paved in the last 5 years. And yeah, those funds, I think it's probably around $10,000 is total what was saved or what we were under budget on those two combined. We put together a crack seal project just to extend the lives of the roads that you paved recently.
Any questions?
I just think in the future, maybe we ought to have the crack seal like separate when we're doing budget time, you know, if 10 or 15,000 might be a nice line item for that. So if we're looking at 400,000, we can spend 400,000 between capital and liquid.
Okay.
So that's something we're going to consider come budget time.
If there's no further questions, I need a motion to award contract number 25R01 to Youngblood Paving, Inc. as the apparent low bidder in the amount of $200,453.50. Subject to Youngblood Paving, Inc. obtaining the required insurance certificates, performance bond, funding agency compliance certifications, and review and approval of same by the borough solicitor prior to execution of the agreement by the borough. I have a motion.
I'll make them.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Contract number 25R02, suggested motion move to award contract number 25R02 to Youngblood Paving Incorporated as the apparent low bidder in the amount of $172,813, subject to Youngblood Paving Inc. obtaining the required insurance certificates, performance bond funding agency compliances, certifications, and review and approval of same by the borough solicitor prior to execution of the agreement by the borough.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have resolution 767 and 768. The borough staff is seeking to authorization to submit grant applications to the Commonwealth Financing Authority's Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program. Funds will be used for playground and park improvements at Real Park and Municipal Complex Park. Each grant request is for $250,000. I need a motion to move to adopt resolution 767, authorizing the borough manager to submit a grant application to the Commonwealth Financing Authority Greenways, Trails, Recreations Program for Real Park improvements.
I make that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I need a motion to adopt resolution number 768, authorizing the borough manager to submit a grant application to the Commonwealth Financing Authority's Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program for municipal complex park improvements.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Council committee reports. Community engagement.
Yeah. We talked about Community Day once again. It's coming up real quick.
Yeah, it is.
Saturday, May 31st.
Pretty exciting.
Going to start at 2 PM, going to run till about 10. Timeline is, we're going to have some activities and games starting at 2. The bands are going to start probably around 2:30. We got different food trucks that are going to be there. We're going to have a beer garden. Different, things for everybody are going to be up there this
Wine
day.
tasting?
Pardon me?
Did we get a wine taster in?
I don't know if they got wine or not. Did we get wine?
I don't know about wine. There will be moonshine, however.
So there you go. The laser show is supposed to start about 9:15. We're excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, I hope.
And, there is going to be some parking up around the park. And Chief, I don't know if you want to comment on what's going to be allowed around the roads, but the overflow parking is going to be down at the Memorial Hall parking lot again, at Grove and 88, down in the fire department parking lot. Probably closer to the Grove. I believe that there are a couple events in the halls that day. So the shuttle bus will be closer towards Grove Road.
I would just add, Mr. Brandon, that historically, we make those streets one-way sporadically as they go through the neighborhood, as they run perpendicular to Terrace Drive. So we'll do the same thing. Public Works usually helps us out with signage. And I highly encourage residents to use the shuttle bus from the parking lot to the park. Very, very limited parking.
Very, very steep hills too.
Yes, sir.
There is a goal. We cannot commit to this, but there is a goal that we will be leaving Upper Hamilton parking lot open for patrons. So if all goes well, there will be some on-site parking available, but that's kind of a game day decision once we look at how many vendors we have and the cars that they bring. So
Are we going to sell tickets to pick to see if you get to park there? We're going to have a lottery.
it might be stadium pricing. They're about $65 a spot.
It'd be fun. Reopening the official.
Yeah, pretty
reopening
exciting.
of the park.
Thank you. Finance, have you reviewed the check register?
Yes, I have. Our most recent check register of May 8th, which is ready. Yeah, no, it was Thursday. I have no further questions.
I have no questions there.
No questions?
Well, yep, no
Anybody have
questions.
any questions? Okay, I need a motion to authorize the payment of all outstanding bills and invoices totaling $145,145.55 from the general fund, $209.32 from the sewer fund, $132,161.68 from the capital fund and $3,213.43 from the library fund.
I make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And,
I'll look this way.
okay, I'll look this way. We have a first and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I think, just for the comments, Mr. Manager, would you explain why we've changed this format? That so
Madam
it makes it
President,
a little more transparent.
Madam President, the thought from staff was that our residents might like to know where where our spending is and at what levels our spending is from the different funds. And so just for a matter of transparency, we've altered the motion to expand on that information for the benefit of our residents.
Thank you. Nothing HR personnel, nothing on that. Planning and codes. No.
There's going to be a planning commission meeting next Monday. EH Hair Studios moving from 105 to 1106 Castle Shannon Boulevard.
Who is?
EH Hair Studio.
Oh, okay.
It's a little
Yeah.
one chair
Okay, they're moving into the,
where was going to be the Asian massage.
okay, they're totally gone.
What I understand, I guess they're getting a new tenant. She'll be the new tenant there.
Okay, great, yeah.
And then poor Johnny's going to have a takeout coffee, espresso, and smoothie shop at 88 Center, which is 4136 Library Road.
What is he gonna be selling, coffee?
Yeah, takeout coffee, espresso, and smoothie shop.
Okay, that's interesting. He went from antiques to smoothies and coffee, okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Anything else on planning and codes? Public safety?
Madam President, I'm just going to comment very briefly on the April 29th storm. Most of our messaging come out over the police website, and then it was syndicated by the borough as well, so I appreciate that. Primarily wind event. I was on an emergency management call earlier this week. No, it was the end of last week. Talking about what they're trying to assess damage for small business loans. They're not going to get any. This was not an event that would get FEMA disaster assistance, but for primarily small business loans, they're looking for 25 residences in the county that suffered 40% more of total property loss of the value of their home. I'm not aware of any that we had in Castle Shannon. Again, this was primarily a wind event. Most of the calls that we responded to were wires down and power
Yeah.
down. So, but if there were any residents that had that degree of damage, I think we probably would have been called to their home. So I'm not aware of any, but again, what our rule was primarily was to try and advocate for those neighborhoods that had power out the longest.
Yeah,
Thornwood, Castle Circle, Blossom Hill, McRoberts Road. So some of those places didn't come on until this past Tuesday. So they
Wow.
were out for an entire week. We messaged the best we could to anybody who would listen, but this was not a Castle Shannon event. This was a regional event.
yeah.
And the power companies did the best they could with the resources they had available. And that's all I have to say.
Madam President, if I could just tie into the chief's comments, the borough, per the suggestion of the chief, placed a roll-off container at the fire department parking lot for the benefit of folks that had loss of power, that they experienced their food spoiling in their refrigerator. We did try to promote it as best we could to let folks know it was available to them. I don't really know how well it was utilized, but we thought we would just at least
Still down there, right?
put the effort. It's still
I
there.
saw somebody putting something in there today. I guess they're taking advantage of it.
So it was a nice partnership to work with the chief on thinking about our residents.
Yeah, thank you. Fire department, they're.
Yeah, I'd like to say that a number of us were invited. I guess we all were invited for the unveiling of the new truck last week. And it was really nice to be there and socialize with some of the borough residents and the fire department. What an accomplishment those guys have done to be able to get a truck like that. This thing is, it's unbelievable what it was. Really nice get together. Thanks for the invite, guys.
And we did have a public safety committee meeting
Yes, we
that
did.
Dan and I attended there with representative from Baldwin Borough and the police department, which is a new effort that we're making to be transparent and work as a team. Public Works,
I have nothing to put from there.
board reports, Allegheny County Boroughs Association, I have nothing. Civil Service, Economic Development.
Nothing for economic development, but the CSRC next meeting will be this Wednesday, the 14th at 7 PM here at the Borough Building.
Okay.
And Madam President, if I could chime into Councilman's comments. The first steering committee meeting was held today for the grant-funded project to do some planning for the Vittes property. It was about an hour-long meeting. I thought it was very productive. There were a lot of suggestions given, and council has copies of the document for review that was discussed with the steering committee today. That's all I have.
Thank you. A library. We have, I don't know. Heather will take your reports and
Heather Myra, Library Director. So I just wanted to follow up on our tiny art show. We did a silent auction this year and it raised over $600 that will be going to our summer reading program. We missed you all. We hope you can all attend next year. This will be our 5th annual art show coming up next year. It was a very nice night and a great turnout from the community. So there is a fundraiser for the library coming up on Wednesday, May 21st at the Getaway Bar and Grill from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. 10% of the food and alcohol sales will be donated back to the library. And the money that we raised from our restaurant fundraisers go to purchasing books that we pass out to the community at our outreach events for free. So we will be at Community Day this year, and we will have those books to pass out at our table. As I mentioned, the summer reading program is coming up. Our theme this year is Color Our World. The kickoff for the summer reading program will be held Friday, June 6th on the front lawn, right after Myrtle is dismissed. They have a half day. They provide breakfast for them, no lunch, so we provide lunch for them. The summer reading program, a lot of people ask, it is for all ages, babies, newborns, to seniors. So we'll have programs and events for all age groups. Want to know what's going on at the library? We have our website, social media sites, and please stop in the library. Our Friends of the Library group met last week. They are looking for new members. Membership forms for Friends of the Library are available online. So,
thank you. Anybody have any questions for Heather and Marion?
Marion Randazzo. I just wanted to thank Mr. Foote for being in our library board meeting the other night, our meeting. I really appreciate you being there. And I went to the Friends meeting, and as luck would have it, Mr. Foote was at that meeting as well. So I told him he was everywhere, but I really appreciate you being there.
Thank you for the invitation.
And I also wanted to mention that on Community Day, the library will have a booth there, as will the Friends group. So both of them will have a booth. So we're out and about.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Mary Craig from the library board as well. And I just wanted to mention, we consider our library to be a hub of this community. And when that storm hit, and Heather's not going to say it, so I'm going to say it. There were children in our library and our staff took the time to get those kids together and to get them downstairs and to keep those kiddos safe and not let them go out in that storm. And also during the week, as people were not getting their power back, that library was a great resource for people to stop in. People hadn't been in and said, I need a book, I don't have any power. I need a game. And we were able to provide those things for our community. And it's because of the staff and what they did to help people. Here, come and charge your phone. We have computers available. So hopefully from the public having to use it in that kind of situation, we're hoping that people will really realize the value there and continue to come. But I also wanted to call out the staff. They did a tremendous job at a really trying time. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I really think our library does a great job. And I know the rest of the board is recognized it also. Medical Rescue Team South?
Next meeting is May 28th, not this Wednesday, but, or no, 2 weeks from this coming Wednesday.
Okay.
Anything more?
Unless you want to talk about the trucks that were approved, the vehicles.
Yeah, I guess we can. There's been some talk about, at ARTSA here with the police vehicles, the public works vehicles. We're telling you all along the cost of these things is astronomical. So just recently, the 6 communities got together and decided that, we needed 4 brand new vehicles. So we're going to be ordering 2 shortly to be delivered in late 26 and early 26. We're going to be ordered 2 more for late 27. So it's really going to help us. And it's really not going to affect the 6 communities offerings that they give every year. So we're happy to report that.
Okay, thank you. Shaycog?
ACOG, their monthly meeting will be this Thursday, the 15th, at the West Mifflin Borough location, and that is also at 7 PM.
Okay, thank you. Allegheny County Southwest Tax Collecting Committee? Nothing?
Nothing there.
Mayor's report?
Yeah, I got just a couple things. If you've been watching the news lately, you'll see the Attorney General's office made one of the biggest drug busts they ever made. Tremendous amount of fentanyl and other drugs, as well as a lot of money. So there's enough fentanyl there to kill probably the whole population of the United States. So I thought it was very, very interesting because we've been fighting fentanyl for such a long time. The other thing, on a lighter side, are they going to have an axe throwing contest on Community Day? Because the last one we had, I won it.
I don't think they got the axe.
Will not.
Are they gonna have one?
There's not going to be any axes on that field, I can tell you that.
Did you say
axes?
You have to live with
You
your
said axes?
reputation unscathed.
My picture will be up there. So it's axes.
Manager's
The
report.
last thing I want to say, the library is really the hub of this community. I can't say enough about the library, and they have a great staff, great librarian. For my green shirt, I thought it was St. Patrick's Day, Heather. But anyhow, no, I really love that library, and they do a great job. You have a lot of activities, so people have an opportunity to really participate. That's my report.
And we appreciate the effort that you made to get that library up and running in Castle Shannon.
In 1923.
Yeah, in the prehistoric times.
I was there.
Throwing axes.
Yeah, with his axe.
You're in charge of the fossil
Chop the trees down.
exhibit. Okay, manager's report.
Madam President, I just wanted to share with everyone that the construction at the park is coming along quite nicely. We are definitely getting close to the end. There will be some milling and paving that's going to be done next week. So I would just ask everyone to just be cautious around that work site as we get some of these larger pieces of the project completed. That's all I have.
Thank you. Solicitor's report.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Real estate tax collector?
Yes, the amount collected for the month of April was $3,151,528.21. And our year-to-date is $4,383,992.12. And I did do the percentage for you, Madam President. We're at 86%, which
All right, yeah.
before even face amount is pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
yeah.
Thank you. Public comment on non-agenda items.
Lori Lackey.
So this last storm we had was unprecedented. Okay, and every community in the whole Allegheny County had some power outages, especially in our community. I know there's different streets had lights on quick. Ours was on Monday. My question is here in the community, there are people that were on oxygen, people that are homebound. What can we do as a community to help people that may or may not have family members that needed to have some food or resources or something to help them? On our street, we had an extra generator that we took to two women that were in their 80s. I don't know. I just hope that this never happens again, that we have power outages, but to come together as a community to help the ones that may or may not be able to tell anybody that they need help. Some people have their chairs that take them to the second level that may or may not have been working. So I just want to know what we can do as a community to prepare and to help our residents.
I don't know that we can do anything as a group, that we just all have to be aware to be good neighbors. I mean, there's no committee you can form, or we just have to be good neighbors and care for each other. Keep the word out, that just make sure that you look out for your neighbor and that we all look out for our neighbors.
It's a shame at this time and age, you have people right across the street, they didn't even know that the other side of the street didn't have electric.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't know you didn't have power.
Yeah. It's unfortunately, it's a blight of this society that we all glue ourselves in front of our computers and our phones, and we don't even know our neighbors' names. But I don't think that it's anything we can do more than each of us do what we can to look after our neighbors.
Or
And
if there's some way that they could, like if you have a list of somebody who would want to put their name on a list, that if that ever happened again, that they're on oxygen, that they might not have a generator or something like that. I mean, I think it would be up to the individual, but, all here to help, for the community. And I didn't hear of anybody specifically within the realm of, a few houses around us that were on oxygen, but I do know that there were some people that were homebound and they couldn't get out.
I think a lot of
Madam President, would there be any way we could offer it on our website or in our newsletter and tell people that it will be kept confidential, and only contact them and when we see there's a need or something, that we would keep the information?
But who would we send to take care of? I mean, I think that's, more the church groups and those organizations that I think as a borough, we don't, I mean, we can't send our police over to their house. I
No,
don't.
but I think everybody here on council and in the borough know people that could help in each neighborhood, and we could contact them and say, hey, could you go check on so-and-so? They're on our list on oxygen or something, however you want to phrase it.
Don't know.
Wouldn't-
Staff,
wouldn't
I mean, it's like
hurt,
the logistics of putting that together would just be, I'm shaking your head. Could you have
I'm
comment?
with you, Madam President. I think that if there are residents who have special needs, they should let their family members know and or a neighbor, right? But I don't think it's something that we have the resources to put this program that's being described right now.
Yeah.
The staffing nor the resources put it together. Social media was replete with comments about we should be opening a shelter, we should be opening a food kitchen. The logistics of just those two things alone, there are resources out there, but this was not an event where that would have been appropriate.
Yeah.
So the needs were just too widespread, and then when you get into these communities, too individualized for these individual homes that were having issues. And again, terrific that we have, we say the same thing in the winter time. In the heat, when it gets too hot in the summertime, or in the winter when we lose power, check on your neighbors, check on the elderly. That's what's appropriate.
Yeah.
Madam President. So we actually, at the fire department, we tried instituting something similar. If everybody remembers back in around 2010, we had that massive snowstorm. So we tried actually instituting something coming out of that using the same principle. We did not get a very good response at all for people requesting assistance or requesting the help. So we didn't pursue it anymore. And then the other kind of concern we had, even though we tried it, was some of the legal aspects to it. If we make a list of people who need help and we do not reach out to them because of manpower or because of others, or just because, you know, someone accidentally gets skipped over, does that set us up for, you know, legal recourse? Because now we know that that person potentially could be in trouble and we didn't, you know, reach out to assist them. So,
And there's so many ramifications and, you know, legal issues. So
What I would say is that if there is an immediate need, 911 is always the first call. 911, because then we'll assess whether or not it's an emergency. And if it's not an emergency, then we can refer them. Now I can tell you that throughout the week, we messaged a lot. Of course, some people didn't have power, they're not seeing these messages, but a lot of people are seeing them. And we had very few calls for 911 where there were responses. What we had was social media, a lot of comments about, where are you and why aren't you getting my power on? Well, again, this was a regional wind event. This was not a Castle Shannon event.
Yeah.
And even the county was inundated. So I think we did the best we could with the resources we had available. The thought is very kind, and I think it's appropriate to try and get out ahead of it. It's just not logistically possible.
and with what resources we have, I think that has to come through the churches and through the, those organizations, you know.
Be good neighbors, there you go.
That's what we do.
Unfortunately, one of the other problems is, and the chief kind of touched on it, if you have an event like this, once you lose power, most people lose their phones. The cell towers go down, so you're not gonna be able to call anybody. The best thing you can do is look out for your neighbor, whether you like them or not. If you know they're elderly, check on them. If you know they have health.
Get them to the library.
Yeah. Let's say a lot of food, one generator, you can plug in 3-4 freezers.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they got the plug.
Thank you.
I ran over a couple of extension cords across the street from one neighbor to another.
Are there any other comments for non-agenda items? Any old business? Any old business? There being none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
No new business? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion
Hey,
carries.
darling Heather, did you run into me cousin?
In a police, we've been on our way down.